For the last 30 days, we have been looking at biblical ways to become better managers and multipliers of all the resources that God has given us. We want to be faithful stewards. And this week, we're going to turn the page and look at another principle of stewardship. And if you're watching this and you go, Brian, I'm budgeting and I'm doing all this stuff, but man, I hate my job, then this one and these next several videos are going to be for you, because we're going to be looking at the concept of work and how we make our labor more meaningful. First church I pastored was in Crossville, Tennessee. I was there from 1996 until 2002. Hard to spit that out. But at that time, Crossville was a beautiful place full of resorts and golf communities, and there were a lot of people who were retiring all over the Southeast and moving to Crossville, Tennessee as one of the premier places in the United States to retire. So we had a lot of retirees in our church. I'll never forget this one Sunday. I'm standing at the back door, and I'm kind of greeting people as the service is over. And this one guy he hadn't been in the church very long, and they had retired from very good jobs in Nashville and had just moved to our community and were getting involved in our church. And he came up and he shook my hand, and boy, he just had this very distraught look on his face. And he said, Pastor, he said, last night I had a terrible dream. He said, I had a nightmare. And I said, man, what was it? I mean, just the way he was acting, I was hooked, right? I had to know what's going on. He just looked at me. He said, I dreamed I had a job. He just kind of chuckled and walked away. But, I think there's a lot of people that sort of look at their job not as a dream, but as an absolute nightmare. They wake up every day going, I got to go do this again. So I want to address today a misunderstanding that we have about work. And that is, there's a lot of people who think that work is the curse. When they go back and they read the Genesis 3 account of when man sins against God and then God is pronouncing curses, a lot of people think that us having to work is a curse of sin. But that's not true at all. Because if you go back to Genesis chapter 2, one of our purposes as the images of God was to work the garden. We are created as workers. Man, we mimic our Creator as a working God. Think about how the Bible opens. It opens with God at work. He is creating the world day by day. You go back to Genesis 2, verse 5, it says, when no bush of the field was yet in the land, and no small plant of the field was yet to spring up, for the Lord God had not caused it to rain on the land, and here comes our purpose, and there was no man to work the ground. So God put into the fabric of the world that it was going to respond to our work. So please understand this, you going to work is not the curse. So what is the problem? The problem is in Genesis chapter 3, verses 18 and 19. And the curse is not work. The curse is work that doesn't work. It doesn't respond the way that we want it to. So listen to this. It says, thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you. You shall eat of the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground. For out of it you are taken, for you are dust, and to the dust you will return. So before you quit your job and go find another one, or you quit working altogether, let me kind of help us to do this. Let's get a grip on reality. And the reality is that it's not just your work that's cursed. The reality is all work is cursed. It's thorns and thistles everywhere. The problems that you find at your current place of employment are going to be the problems that you find at another place of employment. So instead of giving up hope of finding this place that we're going to change and it's going to become the dream that we always wanted it to become, maybe we need to understand that it's not about changing where we work, but it's changing our mentality of work. And so I want to challenge you with this. Let's take this action step today. A deep breath. and just to go to God and say, you know what, this week as we look at this idea of work, Lord, I pray that you would help me to see the reality of the situation that we are in, that it's thorns and thistles everywhere, that it's all work that's cursed. So I want to make a redemptive difference. I want to be creative as you were the creator. I want to enjoy my work just as much as you did and find that it was very good. And so let's look at this idea. So let's think about it today. Pray that God would open our heart to those realities today. And let's just keep working through this week so that we don't wake up every day in a nightmare, but we do wake up every day in reality, having a better understanding of work, because as stewards, we want to be faithful laborers before God who make a difference in a sin-cursed world.